What is up, everyone? Marc here with another edition of Pandemic Pantry Extra, and today we are going to make orange cinnamon swirl bread. Quick breads are great. They freeze well. In fact, today I'm going to make this in mini loaves instead of one large loaf so that I can freeze some for later. Cornbread is another quick bread. In fact, we did that along with the beef stew for two recipe. Check that out if you haven't seen it yet. It's a different kind of take on a cornbread or a quick bread. Today we're actually going to make, loaf breads, but it's more of a pound cake, really. Before we get started, I just want to take a minute to thank you all again for continuing to support the channel and liking the videos and subscribing. Speaking of which, if you haven't subscribed yet, click the red button down below or the watermark in the corner. If you're watching on Facebook right now, please go to youtube.com/markberm and subscribe there. Lots of new content coming out every week. We've got new videos every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So lots of new recipes in the pipeline. I think you're going to like it. If there's something you want to see, then suggest it down below. And I guess that's it. Let's get started. Okay, so while the oven is preheating to 350, I got our ingredients together. We have 1/4 cup of brown sugar. We have 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. We have 2 cups of all-purpose flour. We have 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. We have 1 cup of buttermilk, and I actually don't have buttermilk, so I'm substituting 1 cup of whole milk with 1 tablespoon of lemon juice mixed in and let it sit for about 10 minutes. It's technically soured milk. It's not the same thing as buttermilk, but pH, acidity-wise, it'll accomplish what we need it to accomplish. We've got 2 eggs. We've got 1 cup of granulated white sugar. We have 8 tablespoons or 1/2 cup, aka 1 full stick of butter. And we have 1 teaspoon of orange extract. Now, you can make this with vanilla extract if you want. You can experiment with some other things. Almond extract might be nice, something along those lines. I actually think the orange works out kind of nice. It lends a nice flavor, and it works well with the cinnamon. I think you'll like it too. But again, feel free to alter this however you like. Now, I'm going to be using a stand mixer today just because it makes this a lot easier. There's no reason you couldn't use a handheld electric mixer or mix this by hand. It would just take a little bit more time and a little bit more elbow grease. I'm also, as I said before, I'm going to make this in mini loaf pans, 4 mini loaves instead of 1 full-size 9-inch loaf. You can make it either way, and I will have the instructions down in the description for both methods. But you're going to want to grease your loaf pans, whatever you're doing, and if you can, line with parchment paper. I've already done that. I know I've shown you that in previous recipes, so we'll talk a little bit more about that when we're getting ready to pour our batter. But for now, just know that you should grease your pan, and if you can, also do parchment. And this time I'm actually buttering the inside of the pan, putting in the parchment, and then buttering the parchment as well. I just want to make extra sure that there is no problem with these releasing from the pans once they're done. Okay, so we're going to do a couple of the quick things first. We're going to take our cinnamon and add it to the brown sugar, and just mix that together. And you just want to make sure that it's well crumbled, that there's no lumps of brown sugar in there. Okay, we'll set that aside. Then we are going to add our salt, baking soda, and baking powder to the flour, and just whisk this together to combine it. Okay, now the first thing we want to do is cream our butter. Okay, so we're going to drop that in. And just get that going. Just want to scrape down the sides of the bowl. And we want to add our sugar and the orange extract. And we're going to get this good and cream together until it's nice and fluffy, which will take a couple of minutes on medium to medium high. And I'm going to stop this once. And let this go for another minute or so. All right, so this has been going now for about a total of 2 minutes. I just scrape it down a little bit again. And we're going to add 1 egg at a time until it's combined. And add the second one. And get that until it's fully combined. Let it go for a minute or so. Once everything is pretty well combined, we can start adding our milk and flour mixture. And just make sure we're scraping down the bowl one last time. Okay, now I'm going to have this on low, and I'm going to alternately add a little bit of the milk and a little bit of the flour until everything is combined, and then we will have our batter. All right, this is almost fully mixed. We're going to just stop it to scrape it down one more time. Okay, I think our batter is ready. I'm going to get a couple of things cleaned up, and we're going to pour it into the pans. Okay, so each of these pans has been individually greased, and I've cut a piece of parchment to fit, and then buttered that as well, so they are well greased for the cakes. So I've weighed my batter, and this comes out to about 1,000 grams. I think the recipe called for it to turn out to be about 900 grams. If you've got a kitchen scale, it makes this all the easier. I'm going to use a scale just to portion this out because I want to make sure that it's even among the 4 different cakes. So I've got about 1,000 grams of batter, so it's going to be about 250 per cake, or about 125 per layer. We're going to do 1 layer of batter, a little bit of the cinnamon strudel topping, then the other layer of batter, and then more cinnamon strudel topping on the top. So we've got about 56, 57 grams of strudel topping. So that's going to work out to about 7 or so grams per layer. So let's get started. All right, so I've got these weighed out just about as evenly as I can. Just trying to make them consistent so that they all cook at the same time. The last thing that we want to do before we pop these in the oven is take a bamboo skewer and just swirl back and forth through these a couple of times. And that's just to help swirl up the layer of strudel that we've put in between. And of course, it also helps make sure that the top layer is stuck down better because it mixes it a little bit with the surface batter. Okay, so if we'd done a full-size loaf, I would expect these to take about 55 minutes. Since we're doing smallers, I'm going to check these in about 20 minutes and see. I'm expecting a toothpick stuck in the center to come out relatively clean, maybe a couple of moist crumbs, but we don't want it to come out with wet batter on it. All right, let's get these in the oven and we'll come back and check on them in about 20 minutes. Okay, so these actually ended up taking about 40 minutes in the oven. I've let them cool for about 10 minutes now, and we're just going to turn them out of the tins and put them on a wire rack to cool completely before we dig into them. Okay, these look and smell great. Give them a little bit of space to cool amongst themselves. All right, we're going to let these continue to cool and we'll come back and check on them in a bit. Okay, at this point, these are pretty well cooled, and we are going to slice one up. I like that little hit of orange. It's moist, not too dry. It's a nice little pound cake. Now again, if you don't like the orange, you could absolutely just use a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Maybe try something different, like almond extract, like I said. But yeah, experiment with it, you know, play around with this stuff. There's no reason not to. Now, like I said, I'm going to freeze a few of these. And as you saw when I peeled the paper off, you know, it came unstuck. I'm going to try to leave it just to help protect it a little bit more in the freezer. But I can kind of fold the paper over like this before I wrap it up in plastic. And that'll just help protect it a little bit more. But yeah, give this recipe a shot. I think you'll like it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Even if you didn't, give it a thumbs up anyway. Leave a comment down below, and we'll see you in the next one.